In because it is time to open up those Fowler files. Jeremy Fowler is here with us on SportsCenter. And Jeremy, Patrick Mahomes is trying to work his way back from that ACL tear back in December. What's the latest information you have regarding his recovery?
Scooby, this man has already started some light throwing, some dropbacks, just 3 months after reconstructive knee surgery to repair an ACL and an LCL. It's a pretty serious deal where he's trying to get back week 1. That is not a slam dunk because the Chiefs don't want to rush this. They want to make sure he's good to go. They're going to take it month by month to see how he truly feels. So that's his goal, though, and he's been aggressively rehabbing this. He's been a fixture in the Chiefs building, trying to get after it. So they traded for Justin Fields because they feel like, hey, he's got good experience, good fit in Andy Reid's offense. If he has to start maybe 1 game, 4 games early in the year, they feel good about that. But they are leaving the light on for Mahomes to make his way back week 1 potentially.
Yeah, nothing would surprise me with this guy if he somehow finds supernatural healing. But let's talk about receivers because there's a big name that everyone keeps bringing up, and that's A.J. Brown. So what's the latest on his future with the Eagles?
Well, this feels like a bit of a stare-off between the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles because the Patriots have been involved, and really they're the only known team that's not totally out of it at this point. The LA Rams kicked the tires on it, but ultimately backed out. Some other teams have been implicated, but haven't really been overly serious about this. So unless there's a mystery team that steps up for A.J. Brown, it's going to be a little quiet, it seems, until maybe the draft triggers something. Because the Patriots, if they want to add a receiver, they got to know entering the draft it's a deep class, so they got to figure out what to do there. Then you got Stephon Diggs. We're talking about free agent receivers potentially available here. So Diggs coming off a good year in New England. They parted ways after 1 year, largely because they could save on the salary cap. He can still play, so he will find a home. There's no major rush here. Some people I've talked to around the league are looking at the Tennessee Titans potentially because of Brian Daboll and that connection they had in Buffalo. They kind of need some more receiver help, so maybe that'll make some sense. Then you see Juwan Jennings. This is the top free agent still available, according to our Matt Bowen's Top 100 list on ESPN.com. He will have a home. I'm told he's got multiple offers from teams dating back to early in free agency, but he's been waiting for the right spot. Could be a situation where the Washington Commanders still want to add one, although it's not a slam dunk. They go the Jennings route, but they have a connection with GM Adam Peters, who is in San Francisco, knows Jennings' game well. Drew Rosenhaus's agent is always a fixture at the NFL owners' meetings in Arizona in a couple days. Maybe he can work out a deal with the team for Jennings.
I love doing these with Jeremy because I learned
a little bit. No push for the tush push. Did you hear Adam say that? It didn't get enough credit. Okay, thank you, Mike T. Thank you. Okay,
that was a
pop out of Mike T over there. All right, Jeremy. Another item on the agenda, stirring some conversation. Cleveland's proposal to trade draft picks up to 5 years in the future. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Laura. The current rule is 3 years. Cleveland wants 5 years, and this is trade culture. We're looking at nearly 20 deals that were done around the new league year in the first 2 weeks. Teams love to trade. If you're Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, you're probably not getting traded. Most players otherwise are expendable right now because teams have more comfortability making deals. So Cleveland wants to expand the picks where you can do it 5 years out. The teams that are really organized and love to trade are going to have an advantage because they're going to work years ahead.
Yeah,
and I think it has some momentum.
I mean, that has big impact on the league if it ends up happening. So something to keep an eye on for sure next week. Adam, the Browns made some modifications to the language of Myles Garrett's contract yesterday. Any connection there with what Jeremy's talking about?
Well, a lot of people have asked that question, Laura, and a lot of people have seen that Myles Garrett's contract was modified and the option bonuses were pushed back from the 15th day of the league year, which is about right now, to the week before the start of the regular season. And there are teams around the league that have surmised that maybe that might make it easier one day to trade Myles Garrett. But the Browns have zero intention of moving on from Myles Garrett. They didn't do that to trade him. They're not thinking about trading him. Trading's not an option for them right now. So I know a lot of people have said that, but the Cleveland Browns have said just the opposite. They are not looking and are not interested in dealing Myles Garrett.
And people reading the tea leaves there thinking, my goodness, could Myles Garrett be available? They're saying he's not. All right.
A.J. Brown and the Eagles should absolutely part ways.
Just too much smoke around this situation all the time.
Do I want to go to New England, Buffalo, Baltimore, San Francisco?
There is a financial burden if they trade A.J. Brown based on the structure of his contract.
Howie Roseman not going to turn down any kind of conversation.
We're trying to get better, and it's hard to do that if you're just subtracting great players.
He has meant so much to our football team these past 4 years, and I know I want to continue that relationship. I know he wants to continue that relationship, and excited about that.
Okay, the Eagles have enough going on with the A.J. Brown trade talk, which hasn't necessarily quieted down. There just hadn't been a whole lot of action. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. Here's what else they've been up to. Philly added Riq Woolen off his Super Bowl win. Also added depth to their wideout room with Hollywood Brown. Maybe a little indicator there. I don't know. Another year, though, and another offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion, 5th in 6 seasons under Nick Sirianni. Some of it's been that those guys have moved on to bigger and better things as in head coaches, but still. Adam, what are the Eagles' recent moves, though? Tell us about a potential A.J. Brown trade.
Well, not a lot, Laura. Look, they signed Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore and A.J. Brown are close friends from college, so you could interpret that as the fact that maybe they want to make A.J. Brown happy and keep him there by signing Elijah Moore. Some people say, oh, they signed Elijah Moore and Hollywood Brown. Maybe those are potential replacements as it pertains to A.J. Brown. The fact of the matter is we're in late March, and it doesn't look like anything's going to happen with A.J. Brown for a little while, if it even happens at all. The Eagles have listened to teams, but they have been steadfast in saying all along that they were not looking to trade him and would only trade him unless they got an offer they couldn't refuse. That has not transpired so far. Plus, the thing to remember is that it would be easier to trade A.J. Brown after June 1st due to the salary cap acceleration. So if they were going to trade him, that would be the time to do it. The question is, New England's been the one team that's out there that people have linked up and connected to A.J. Brown. Is New England going to bring back Steph Diggs? Is New England going to use a high pick on a wide receiver? Is New England going to find another receiver between now and June 1st? We don't know how that's going to work out yet, so it's too early to say that he's going to wind up in New England. If he were to be traded, that would be the most likely destination, but there's nothing agreed to, there's nothing in place, and there's still a lot of time between now and June 1st for events to transpire.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Laura, outside of the New England Patriots, there aren't a lot of known suitors right now. The LA Rams looked into it, kicked the tires, ultimately decided to keep Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua and go that route. Kansas City Chiefs never really looked into this. For the most part, they're not going to do that trade. So it kind of feels like a standoff with New England. The next pivot point could be the NFL draft, because if you're New England, you might want to take a high pick in the draft, knowing that it's a deep receiver class. If Philadelphia wants to wait until June 2nd where they can save money in the cap to do the trade, New England might have moved on by then. So something has to give. And also, if you're Philadelphia, you're trying to work a couple angles. If you trade A.J. Brown, you might do a deal to get a pass rusher like a Jonathan Bernard from Minnesota. So they have multiple balls in the air they're trying to figure out right now.
Okay, so the Patriots, the team you know well, are the kind of the main team here, as Adam alluded to. Let's talk about the fit there, and then also just what you think in general the Eagles should do with A.J. Brown here.
I think A.J. Brown, he's the type of receiver where he's going to fit wherever. He's a number one type of guy that can align on the outside. They signed Romeo Doubs. You have him, you have Kayshon Boutte. You have guys that can complement A.J. Brown, allow him to get the football. I think the relationship with him and Mike Vrabel would be one that would, I think, accelerate this trade and make it come to fruition early on in that relationship and the process of him being able to go out there and execute. But I say all that to say, if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm not trading A.J. Brown.
Well, even with all the issues.
No, sometimes a toxic relationship, you go through your ups and downs, but you got to stay the course. As I look at this for Philly, you signed a guy like Riq Woolen when you needed a cornerback spot opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. You're filling some gaps. Yes, you lost Nakobe Dean, but you still have Jahad Campbell, who will now get more reps. You need an edge rusher, but I'm not really trying to take away right now on the offensive side of the ball. You're bringing a new coordinator. Let's see what those vibes will bring throughout the course of the offseason. Adam mentioned after June 1st, you're going to have April when the offseason starts. You're going to have OTAs and all of those things with Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Sean Mannion now at the helm. Let's see how that looks. Now we still have drama in the offseason. Now we can revisit it.
Yeah, but then it's too late, right? Like, kind of. I hear you. Here's the thing. Like, you don't want to let go of a receiver like A.J. Brown. It just felt like at many times it was so untenable with that offense and everything that was coming out. Maybe it was Kevin Patullo's fault, you know? Maybe Sean Mannion's going to come in and fix it all.
But like, what do you do if A.J. Brown wants out? Because that's sort of the issue right now. It's lingering. Like, at the very least, he would welcome a trade. He hasn't really forced the issue as far as a trade request, but it's sort of known that, like, he's kind of bummed that this hasn't worked out yet. He and Jalen Hurts seem to be in an okay place, but it's been up and down. We've all seen that every week. I mean, A.J. Brown's meltdowns late in the year on the sideline were like the 8th worst thing that happened in the Eagles season. You know, so it was just week to week. It was an issue. So it still feels like both parties know that it's best to move on We'll see. Maybe it's salvageable.
It's so complicated, though, because you got a player of that caliber. You're not just giving him away to somebody. You got to have the right trade partner. It sounds like
We figured out what Dallas is doing on night one in Pittsburgh, going defense from the SEC twice. Corner Jermod McCoy, ACL issues be darned. And edge rusher R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma. It's been a while since Dallas went defense twice in round one, 2005, but it went great. Hall of Famer DeMarcus Ware and our own Swagoo. Here's year 2 Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer on Dallas's draft needs.
I think we did a really good job setting ourselves up to be able to draft natural and draft pure, which is what you want to do. You don't want to have to be forced to reach for a player. That's when you make mistakes.
Tim Hasselbeck, are you buying what Brian Schottenheimer's selling there?
I think it's true on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not totally positive that's right on the offensive side. Look, if there's a receiver there, I don't think they're taking him. But I do think it's true on the defensive side because, they could address all 3 levels of their defense. You go back, it's funny seeing that graphic on 2005. Look, if they went, edge rusher, interior defensive lineman, wouldn't it be terrible? If they went edge rusher, linebacker, edge rusher, secondary player, wouldn't be terrible. So I think I see all of that and think there is some truth to what Brian Schottenheimer is saying.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really comes down to the fact that they have so many needs. Like Tim said, you could draft at multiple positions on defense, and I wouldn't quibble with it. I don't think it's worth it for them to go up and get a player. I think the top 3 edges will likely be gone by then. But I will say this. Sonny Styles, to me, is the dream fit, both in terms of the best player of the position, the glaring need for Dallas. And if I'm them, I am praying that he gets out of the top 10 and falls to them at 12. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. It seems unlikely after the Combine, but that, to me, would be the optimal outcome for Dallas.
Brian Schottenheimer may have talked about not needing to reach with any of those early picks. That part's not earth-shattering, but, Tim, something you alluded to, Schottenheimer did address and made some waves when he said he wouldn't rule out any position when Dallas is on the clock.